broadcast around the world. Okay, we are waiting for something to appear, something for everyone, quality tonight. Here we go. Oh, there we are, live and in living color. It's 8:28. Good morning. We are broadcasting live on YouTube at 8:28. We will start at 8:30 with Coffee with Casper. And we're glad you're here. Good morning, Judy. Good morning from Boise. Let me know where you are around the world. We're glad to see you here this morning. Maybe we got Sri Lanka. Maybe we got London. Maybe we get Hawaii. We're looking forward to our South Carolina and North Carolina friends. All right, we got Oregon friends. We're glad you're here today. All righty, we are getting ready. 8:29. Where is Casper? Casper, where'd you go? Come on, say it one more time. It's 8:30. We're going to say hi. That a boy. There's coffee. Here's the coffee. Here's the Casper. There's the Casper boy. He loves to come up on the computer and say hi to everybody. Okay, here we go. Almost. We're watching the clocks. Here we go. Good morning from Las Vegas. Good morning from North Carolina. Good morning from Hollywood. Aloha from Hawaii. We love it. Yay. Good to see everybody this morning. It's 8:30. Here we go. Casper has said hello. I've got some coffee. Here goes the gong. So let's everybody take a deep breath. Let that breath flow up into your heart. And then just relax. Allowing the vibration of this time to heal, uplift, inspire. That the I am consciousness that I am is the I am consciousness that each one is. And that as we gather with the intention to rise up, to harmonize, to find peace and poise and balance and harmony, that intention is being fulfilled because we have gathered together to make it so. We are so glad to see you this morning on Coffee with Casper. Wonderful, beautiful day here in Southern California. We had a little rain, and now things are washed and fresh. Of course, as you can see where I live up here, it's kind of dry, and so the water makes it much safer. So we're glad to have had some water. That's a good thing. So today what I wanted to talk about, we talked about several months ago, and I want to bring it up again because it's really worth seeing so that we can understand. And then we're going to look deeper into a principle. Now, when we're referring to laws right now, the laws that I'm referring to would be the laws of nature, the laws that are given. And so, we've talked about them before, and that the giver of all life, love, and beauty, that which is source, that which is the living thing itself, which all of us belong to and are part of, as we often say, not one of us knows how to make a liver live or a kidney kid or beat a heart or any of those things. It's being done unto us because we belong to it, and we are what it is. Source and I are the same. We are one thing, right? And that would be source and each one of us. For that which Meister Eckhart said is forever begetting the only begotten in me now. That would be the arrival, the awareness of I am consciousness. The I am consciousness within each of us, which is our soul nature, absolutely knows that everything and everyone is interrelated and interconnected, and that there is no such thing as a random anything. Everything is happening through the spontaneous laws of consciousness, which is the spiritual law, which supersedes and works with all other laws. The working of miracles is not a destroying of laws or the appearance of what appears to be miracles. It is simply a greater law harmonizing those laws to a particular effect. As Ernest Holmes, the wonderful metaphysician and spiritual teacher from the last century, said, that there are two aspects of mind. One which is the receiving aspect of mind, which is where we gaze, to receive guidance, to move from that I am consciousness into the world. Because, again, the I am that I am is my true and eternal nature. That makes it my real self, yes? So now I'm going to mention a few laws. We see the law of gravity. That would be a law of nature. It works the same for everybody. We see that water runs downhill. That works the same in every nation, in every continent, everywhere on the planet. We see that water seeks its own level according to its own weight, and that's the principle of being able to use water. That's how we invented dams, knowing that water is going to seek that level always seeking to balance, find its level. That's a law and principle. Now we move further. We know that energy and matter are equal and interchangeable. That means there's only one thing going on. We as human beings don't yet understand that entropy, which is the slight loss of energy, but we do know that the energy didn't go anywhere. It's still present within the system. So energy and matter are equal and interchangeable. That is true, again, in every continent, in every nature, in every culture, in every way of being. These principles are given unanimously. They are given completely, equally to everyone. And so is the principle of the law of consciousness, the law of the circle, the law of mind. These are all different names for the same principle, the law of karma. There is a principle at work in our lives. And the one that I wanted to bring forth today is the law of as. The law of as is so powerful, and yet it's everywhere present and equally distributed, and most souls are not consciously aware of the law of as. Of course, many of us as light workers around the world are aware of the law of as, which is, as I believe it is done unto me, as I give, so shall I receive. As I thinketh in my heart, so shall it be in my experience. The law of source says, as the way I treat source is the way the source treats me. Meaning that if I am in tune with the infinite, and I am walking with the infinite in love and reverence and connection, then the infinite responds by walking with me in love and reverence and connection. It never leaves anybody, and it's always there, but each of us is the avenue through which that law is set into motion. The way I treat Source or God is the way Source or God treats me. My abiding belief in Source or God is the way I receive God's or Source's abiding belief in me. It's all happening according to this perfect law of resonance, which is also the same as the law of vibration, that each one attracts what their consciousness, that's the total of their conscious mind and their subconscious mind, which creates our consciousness, which comes into form. So what we need to know about laws like this, and again, we're talking about a spiritual law. There are mental laws, there are physical laws, there are spiritual laws, and spiritual laws are transcendent. They work through all the other laws in synchrony. They harmonize all of the other laws. Spiritual principles, again, transcend all the other laws, not to break them, but to supersede them as the dominating principle. So here's what I wanted to remind you. When I was 18 years old, I remember sitting on the porch with my good friend whose grandfather was involved in the creation of television, the Sarnoff family, very famous family, in terms of contributions to the world. And I'm sitting there with my buddy Dan, and we're talking, and he's telling me about how one day there will be a phone that could fit in your hand, that could fit in your pocket, and would be able to reach anywhere in the world. Now, what he didn't know at that time is, and futurists hadn't predicted yet at that time, is that you'd be able to broadcast from your phone all around the world, that you'd be able to use your phone to tell you exactly where you are and how to get someplace, these navigating devices. They have not been around all of that long, and certainly in my lifetime, these things were fantasy ideas. But the principle of cyberspace, the principle of being able to connect in all of that always existed. It was as humanity's intelligence level rose and its understanding of these principles, again, a binary principle creating all computers everywhere, the understanding of these principles, then the more we understood them, the more we rise up in consciousness to be able to use them and take advantage of them, yes? But the principle of cyberspace and the existence of what we now know holds all of the sum total of human knowledge, a library of the sum total of human knowledge in something called cyberspace was not conceivable even in the early 90s. It was coming into view, but nobody could have imagined that we would all be carrying mini computers that could broadcast around the world in our pockets. And as have you ever left your house without your cell phone? Don't you feel like, oh my God, how am I going to function? Right? But the principle was there. And so what the point of it is, we rise up in awareness, and as we rise in awareness, we discover principles that were always there. All of the principles have always been there. Before man discovered fire, the principle of fire existed and was usable. Before humankind discovered the wheel was existent and was available as a principle. Before we discovered the law of waves, that things move in waves, we didn't know how to determine that the waves were actually the very substance of life itself. We're talking about before even particles, before there's even atoms, right? The substance of life itself is born of waves and vibrations. Now, these ideas were not even accepted 20 years ago. And now, obviously, quantum science has been around since around the 1940s, and a deeper understanding of it. And now we have these two mechanisms, quantum science, which says the observer affects the experiment, and Newtonian science, which says we're just pieces of matter functioning with material laws. Well, we now know that neither one of those is true. In fact, it's some combination of both, ultimately heading toward what Einstein presumed was the singular theory that works everything. And I believe humanity will rise up into that awareness. But we're going to need to rise up understanding the fundamental unity of all life. And that's where humanity is right now, is many of us, those of us who are light workers, and let me remind you, we're on YouTube under Creative Enhancement, under Coffee with Casper, under Harry Morgan Moses. We're on Facebook under Harry Morgan Moses. And wherever you can share this video, if it's valuable to you, if it inspires you in any level, then share the video. That's all we're asking you to do with Coffee with Casper, is the more we put out these vibrations of possibility, these vibrations of the dominion of consciousness, the more people will move away from the egoic separate idea. Us versus them is where that egotism goes to. And we can dissolve that and move into unity consciousness. The more we move into unity consciousness, the more we will see in physical reality among nations, among continents, among eventually the world. We'll see a seeking of the same solutions that bring forth good for everybody. Indeed, we can bring forth, humanity can bring forth a world that works for everybody. Because everybody uses the law of consciousness. Everybody is subject to the law of consciousness. So welcome from New Hampshire, welcome from Arizona, welcome from Los Angeles. My, imagine that. We're so glad you're here today. So what we want to know is how can I use the law of as so that my consciousness begins to bring that law, which is the way I'm functioning in my consciousness, as the law of my life. It is already the law of my life, but we need to raise our consciousness up to the place where we are living from and intending to live in unity consciousness. One life, one planet, one people, one solar system, one universe, one galaxy, and all the universes and all the galaxies as one life. Various vibrations and multidimensions of the one life, which is with and for itself and is eternal. So what we're asking is, where is your as? Where is your as? So if we were to look at health, wealth, love, and purpose, we could easily go, all right, in health, there is I am born in the image and likeness of wholeness. Everyone is born in the image and likeness of wholeness. So how am I relating to that pattern? Am I looking at every little mark on my skin or a little dry thing and going, oh my, and following it with fear? Or am I noticing whatever's happening in my body and letting my consciousness rise up to that pattern which is whole, complete, and perfect, and allowing that pattern to infuse every cell of my being, therefore every organ, every function of every organ, and relying on the I am to be the instrument which is working through my nutrition, through however it is my exercise, what I'm doing with my body, but the pattern is being drawn in through my consciousness, through my intention to align with it. And we talk about success, that if consciousness is the substance of my supply, then am I noticing the bounty that is all around me? You don't just have a few branches or a few leaves. You have an abundance of branches and leaves. You don't just have sunlight in one place. You have sunlight everywhere the light is touching. We begin to function from the abundance consciousness. We begin to see the abundance in the universe, and we begin to rely on that abundance as the natural state, and we are functioning as we are moving in the world. Helen Street was a wonderful teacher of these ideas in the world, and she used to say, "Thank God my sugar daddy is wealthy." Thank God my sugar daddy is wealthy. But the sugar daddy she was referring to was Source itself. Thank God the I am that I am is the source of all abundance and all good, and I am dwelling. You see, these ideas, our separation consciousness, our ego consciousness, wants to say, oh, that's pipe dreaming. No, but it's only as your consciousness begins to dwell in these ideas that the law of as is flowing through you, that I am functioning as an instrument and avenue of the abundance of the Most High. Therefore, good and more good is mine. There's no limit to the good that is mine, for I am one with the all good. Everywhere I go, I see this good. I feel it. It crowds itself against me. It flows through me. It multiplies itself around me. As I place myself in that consciousness, that I am consciousness resonates out and flows into my experience. And that's what we're looking to have happen in our lives, yes? So in health, as I am courting and working with that perfect pattern already been given, no matter what I've done with it in the past, but what I'm doing with it now, right? As health, wealth, love, as I am an instrument of love, then that love, that law of as much love as I'm giving out, that much love flows back to me as I am a loving presence. And the same thing is true with purpose. As I know I am one with the one, and that the actual intention of my manifestation in body is to understand that I am the glory of the Most High, that I am one with all that is the goodness, the beauty of life, and life gave it to me because it knows it's the truth about me. And now I am set free to discover it and bring it forth into my life. Each one of us has the capacity to be an instrument through which the greater life is flowing to us and through us as us. So this week, separate yourself from concerns of the world. I'm not saying don't pay attention to it. Don't be mindful about how to function in your world, what your daily tasks are. But separate yourself so that you can observe it and ask yourself, where am I sitting as? How am I being as this life, this love, this joy, this health, this wealth, this success, this purpose fulfilled? Each one of us has the right to comfortably live our lives and fulfill our purpose. There's no more need for the suffering. There's no need to use fear as that which guides the ship. We can use love, which steers us onto the path of perfect right action. We can use faith and believing and wholeness as that which steers us onto the path, yes? So who you are is something magnificent. What you are is a light worker in the world. The light workers in the world are being responded to by the Most High, and we are bringing to the surface and transmuting back into light everything that no longer serves each one of us, and eventually, as more of us tune into that light, which will free humanity and the nations and the cultures and the continents and the world to work in unity consciousness. Who you are is something magnificent. Thank you for being with us today. Spread this video wherever you can. Let's put our as where we would like it to be and live as though we were the magnificence of the Most High. I am the magnificence of the Most High, and so are you. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next week with Coffee with Casper. Bye for now.